everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing a tier ranking list video because I feel like these are all the rage at the moment and I've wanted to do one for a while, but I've just haven't got around to it until today. So I'm gonna do a ranking rock and metal bands tier list. This is just a random one that I found on the internet, so I did not choose these bands. These are just randomly generated bands from this list. So if one of your favorite bands or a really crucial band is not on here, it's not my fault. These are just random choices. I'm doing it here on my computer, which you can't see, but obviously if I'm looking over here, that's because I'm looking at my computer. So we have got 6 tiers today that we are going to be ranking these bands into. Starting with the top, we've got My Reason for Breathing. Kind of self-explanatory. My Reason for Breathing is one of my favourite bands. I know all the songs by this band. I love all the songs by this band. I think this band have legendary status and I just love them. Then going down from that, we have Pretty Darn Good. Again, self-explanatory. A band where I know a decent amount of their songs and I like their whole vibe. I just like them a lot. I listen to them regularly. Next, we have got Pretty Good, which is just a step below Pretty Darn Good. These are bands that I do like. I don't think they're bad. I don't listen to them that much. Maybe I only know a few songs. Maybe I only know the hit songs, but I still think they're a good band. Next, we've got Meh, which is bands that are just not to my taste. I would probably say this category is. Then we have Painful to the Ears, again self-explanatory. These are bands that I actively dislike and think are bad. And then obviously we've got Don't Know Enough. I just wanted to include this one because I don't think it's fair for me to rank bands that I don't really know that many songs or I don't know that well. That feels a little bit unfair. So yeah, as I said, I didn't choose these bands, so don't judge me on the band options here. And I'm gonna try and not spend too long talking about each band because there are quite a few. Let's start. So first of all, we have AC/DC. Obviously a band I know, but I wouldn't say I know all of their songs. I probably know the hits and a little bit more. So I'm gonna put them in pretty good. I can already smell the comments. But I think I'm going to put them in pretty good for now. Maybe I'll change that, but they don't wow me, but they do have some good sing-along fun songs. Next up is Aerosmith. I don't love Aerosmith, to be honest. I know the hits and they're fine, and the other songs that I've heard outside of the hits, it's not really for me. So they are going to go in Meh. Strong start. Alanis Morissette is next, and I like Alanis. I like her really famous album, like her best-selling album that she has. I like all the songs from that, so I'm gonna go for Pretty Good. Yeah, I'm happy with that. I think that's probably fair. Next up, we have Alice in Chains, who is my personal favourite of the big 5 grunge bands, if that's how you want to call it. So I'm going to put them in Pretty Darn Good because I do think they are pretty darn good. Every song I've heard from Alice in Chains has been like an immediate love for me. I really love their music, their early stuff mostly, but I think they're pretty darn good. Next we have Arctic Monkeys, and they're going straight into My Reason for Breathing. If you know me or you've watched this channel for any amount of time, you'll probably know that Arctic Monkeys were my first ever favourite band and a band that I still hold very, very dear to my heart and love a lot. So I'm happy with them there. Next up is Audio Slave, who I'm going to put in the don't know enough category because I generally think I've heard one song. Next up, we've got The GOAT, the greatest band of all time. You guys already know My Reason for Breathing, the Beatles. Scientifically proven to be the best band of all time, and I just love that about the Beatles. Like, you can't even argue. It's like science. They are generally the best band. Rage Against the Machine, going straight in Pretty Darn Good. That one's easy for me. I love Rage Against the Machine. I love everything about them. They are fantastic, but they're not quite in My Reason for Breathing because I haven't listened to them for years and years and years, like I have with Arctic Monkeys and the Beatles. So they haven't quite earned that legendary status just yet, but I do love them a lot. Next, Oh my God, I thought that this was Black Sabbath, but it's actually Black Sabbath. Don't even know what to say about that, really. I'm pretty sure Black Sabbath is like the all-female version of Black Sabbath. So I have never heard of them, but I'm just going to put them in don't know enough. I'm really confused. Next we have Blur, and I took a bit of heat on TikTok for not liking Blur as much as I should, but I've just never been a Blur fan. I am an Oasis girly, so Blur is going to go... I don't want to put them in meh, that's quite mean. Oh, this is tricky. I don't want to put them in meh, because that feels a bit... I don't like seeing them next to Aerosmith. No, do you know what? They're going in meh. They're going in meh. Bon Jovi is next. A band I definitely like a lot. Would I say I love? No, because I think the songs that they've got, they're really famous ones, like Living on a Prayer, is too irritating to me. I really find that a very, very annoying song. So I can't put them in pretty darn good, but they are pretty good. But I would feel wrong putting them in pretty darn good because of Living on a Prayer is the most irritating song I've ever heard. Coldplay, you guys know, it's pretty darn good for me. I love Coldplay. I actually love all of their stuff, so they could go in my reason for breathing, but something about that feels wrong. Something about putting them in my reason for breathing feels really wrong, and I don't know why. I'm going to keep them in pretty darn good. I think that's probably fair, even though I do like them more than I like Alice in Chains. Oh, do you know what? They're going to go in my reason for breathing. That is wild. Dave Matthews Band, I don't know enough, really, so sorry, Dave Matthews. Deep Purple is next. I know my dad likes this band, I think. I know the hit, I should say. So it's going to have to be meh. Elvis. Do you know what? I'm not really a huge Elvis fan. Like, I'm just not. But this is tricky, actually. I think I'm going to put him in pretty good. This is wild. I don't even know why he's on here, but I think pretty good is probably fair for Elvis, for me, and how much I listen to him, because I really don't listen to him a lot, but if a song comes on, I probably will dance, so I'll say pretty good. Evanescence. This is a tricky one because I do like Evanescence a lot. Like, I think all the songs that I know I like, but I just don't know that many songs. I feel like I only know that classic album, Fallen, or whatever it was called, their like really big album. So I'm gonna put them in pretty good. Next up is Faith No More, and I know someone commented the other day about me never talking about Faith No More, and that is because generally I don't know them enough. I have not given them a chance. People are telling me that maybe I should, so watch this space, but for now it's not fair. I'm gonna have to put them in don't know enough. Next up is Foo Fighters, and I think I'm like one of the only people on earth that doesn't absolutely love Foo Fighters, so they're gonna go in pretty good. Again, it's one of them. The songs I've heard I do like, but I don't hear that. I haven't heard that many songs, so I'm gonna stick with that. Next up is the Gorillaz. Right now they're gonna go in pretty darn good because their new songs, I know they've got a new album coming, I think it's next month, but the songs from that album, Cracker Island, I am obsessed with. The actual song Cracker Island, I cannot get it off repeat, so they're going to go in pretty darn good. Everyone has like memories associated with the Gorillaz, and I definitely do from my childhood, so I'm happy with them there. Next up is Green Day, who again I'm going to put in pretty darn good because I loved them a lot when I was a teenager. They were one of the first kind of heavier bands, I suppose, that I listened to, and I've got good memories associated with them. Guns N' Roses. Now this is probably going to ruffle a few feathers, but I've never been a big Guns N' Roses fan, so I'm going to put them in pretty good. And I know people go absolutely crazy for them, and I like them, but I don't love them. Okay, this one takes no thinking about. Imagine Dragons going straight in, painful to the ears, because I hate them. A bad band, bad music, bad lyrics. everything overall is bad. So they are going in painful to the ears, where they belong. Next up is Iron Maiden, which of course I recognise their legendary status, of course. But for me, I've never been able to properly get into them. So I'm going to put them in meh. No, I can't do that, surely. People are going to hate this. Janis Joplin. I only know a few songs again, but the ones I've heard are pretty good. So I'm going to put them in pretty good. Jimi Hendrix, I think probably the same thing as Janis. Like, I haven't heard that many songs, but the ones I've heard, I do like. No, I think I'm going to put Jimmy in pretty darn good. I've definitely listened to more Jimi Hendrix than I have Janis Joplin or Guns N' Roses. And now we have Kiss, a very polarising band, but a band that I like a lot. They're a lot of fun, a very rich history. So I'm going to put them in pretty darn good. Okay, Led Zeppelin, no brainer with them, going in pretty darn good. But I'm going to put them here because I want them more towards the top of pretty darn good, because they are legends. Linkin Park. Okay, so I really did miss the boat with Linkin Park, and I know a lot of people my age, they were like a huge band for them. They got them into heavy music and stuff, but it's just never been that way for me. But I do like them a lot still, so I'm gonna put them in pretty good, but I'm gonna again move them to here because I want them like near the top of pretty good. Megadeth, I love Megadeth, so they're gonna go in pretty darn good, and they're gonna go up here in pretty darn good, above the Gorillaz. No, yeah, yeah, I'm gonna put them above Led Zeppelin. I probably prefer them. I'm especially really into their album Rust in Peace at the moment. Next up is Metallica. Straight away, off they go. My Reason for Breathing. I love Metallica, love them, love everything about them. Nirvana. I'm always controversial with this, but I'm not really a huge fan of Nirvana, and I never really have been. Remember, this is just my opinion, guys. They're going in there. And Oasis, I like a lot. As I said, in the Blur versus Oasis debate, I was an Oasis girly. They're a big band from my childhood, so they're gonna go in pretty darn good. Offspring. Meh, not really a big fan of the Offspring. The songs that I have heard are okay, don't love them. Pearl Jam I like a lot. I'm gonna put them in pretty good, but I'm gonna put them at the very top of pretty good because they're almost pretty darn good. I think I listen to Pearl Jam more than I listen to Jimi Hendrix, so I'm gonna actually put them in pretty darn good. Next up, you guys already know, actually, Pink Floyd, definitely in My Reason for Breathing. One of my all-time favourite bands, got a Pink Floyd tattoo. Just love everything about them. I just love them. She's a killer queen, gunpowder gelatine. No, I don't mean to put them in painful to the ears. Queen are going to go in pretty good for me, I think. I used to be a kind of hater of Queen, but I definitely don't hate them anymore, but I definitely don't love them. This is the thing, I just don't love them. Queens of the Stone Age going straight in there. The songs that I've heard, I've never been overstruck on. I do like their, like, you realize you're mine song. Radiohead are gonna go straight in pretty darn good. I love Radiohead. Not one of my all-time favourites, but they're up there. I do think they're pretty good, pretty darn good. Red Hot Chili Peppers, kind of the same actually. I've got lots of memories of the Red Hot Chili Peppers from my childhood. My family are into them. They've just got some really stand-out great songs that have stood the test of time. The Rolling Stones, I know you're all punching the screen right now, but I don't really like the Rolling Stones very much. I need to be true to myself, don't I? Yeah, I'm putting them in there. Next is the Scorpions. Here I am, rock you like a hurricane. I like the Scorpions. I'm happy to put them in pretty good up there with AC/DC. Although I probably like Scorpions more than AC/DC though, so I'll put them above. Sex Pistols are gonna go in. I do like the songs I've heard from them, but I don't listen to them regularly. so maybe they shouldn't be there, because all the other bands I would say I listen to like semi-regularly. No, I'm going to leave them there. Slipknot are going to go in my Reason for Breathing, because they're one of my favourite bands and I listen to them very regularly and I love all their stuff. Soundgarden, I'm going to put in Pretty Darn Good, and I'm going to put them up there with Pearl Jam, but I like them more than Pearl Jam. Stone Temple Pilots, another one of the grungy bands. I'm going to put them in Pretty Good at the end here. Can't be right. I'm going to put Stone Temple Pilots in there with Nirvana, and then I'm going to move Nirvana to Pretty Good, because if I'm thinking about it like how I would rank those grunge bands, I can't in my right mind have Stone Temple Pilots higher than Nirvana. System of a Down is going straight in Pretty Darn Good with, oh, it's there with Megadeth. I listen to them regularly. I like everything I hear from them. And The Clash are one of my favourite older bands. Sorry if don't like it. That is one of my favourite songs ever. So they are going to go in Pretty Darn Good with these fellas. I'm going to ruffle a few feathers again now because I don't like Bob Dylan. So I'm going to put him in there. And I'm not even sorry about that actually, because I just don't like him that much. I don't know. It's just, maybe it's just not for me. It's just not my thing. And the same with Doors. I know people don't like people that don't like the Doors, but it's just not for me. It's not. And ending again on a bit of a negative note is the White Stripes are going to go in there. Don't listen to them enough. The songs that I have heard are quite average for me. So there is my tier ranking of these random rock and metal bands that are on this list. I really hope you've enjoyed this video. I definitely want to do more like this. Feel free to slate me in the comments about my opinions. That's okay. And let me know what you think of this type of video. Also, let me know how you would rank these bands. And I will be back very soon for another video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.